Saturday and we haven't done breakfast Saturday yet for this year, and we're gonna start with our lovely warm pajamas, and not pajamas that we sleep in, but wearing pajamas after you wake up in the morning, shower. Then this is what we wear in a winter season and on a winter day. And I'm wearing this today. I'm going to share a photo of it. I'm wearing it with a lovely shoe, with that lovely booty shoe. And I'm going to share a photo of what I'm wearing today, right? What are we cooking? We are baking in the kitchen, yes. We are baking. It's Saturday. It's raining a lot. And at school, and we are probably going to cook something later. And now we are already baking, right? So what am I baking today? I'm actually baking some biscuit, and I'm adding flour, plain flour. I know I have a few recipes of the biscuits there. I'm adding plain flour. I'm going to share a photo just now for everyone. Plain flour. I'm doing brown sugar. I got to the store this morning and they did white. No, I didn't have enough money on my card for white sugar. And I bought brown sugar, and I added brown sugar because brown sugar is for a biscuit baking, right? It's very nice with the biscuit baking. And I added brown sugar, and I added self-raising flour. I'm not adding salt to this recipe. I'm not adding baking powder to this recipe. I'm adding butter. I'm adding, that's about definitely not 100 ml today. It's just a little bit more than 50 ml. It's a 55 ml of butter. I'm gonna add a dash of milk, and then we're gonna do it with the cold water, right? With the lukewarm water, not cold water. I know previously we did it with hot water. And the baking, last week's baking didn't come nice. I think it was the hot water that had something to do with it. And I didn't share a photo of that because it was really now like rubber. So now I'm quickly going to share this photo with y'all. That's now our sugar that we have in there, our flour that we have in there, our baking tray. I buttered only at that part of the baking tray because I'm going to drizzle a little bit of butter on top of the baking when I add it to the pan. And then I'm going to add butter, and then I'm going to add all the other ingredients, right? So for those of y'all that have not seen my photos of baking, I know I see a lot of baking recipes. Hi, thank you, morning, for tuning in. And all of those people, please, that's busy with other things around our house, don't be busy with other things around my children, yes. My child and a friend went out yesterday, yes, and they had a lovely day out. And a friend took a photo, and like parents, and the photos stand so when you are the parent and you look into that photo. So for other people, don't be busy with all things around our children. Everyone knows I've explained a lot about the communications around our household. And I would really appreciate it if people does not manipulate the children's communications in the universeness of communication. And those people that works with technology, so that there's nothing that's odd, that are disruptive to the households itself, right? And what else did we wanted to say? Because I've learned something happening in my house, a video playing in my house on Wednesday, and I've learned 2 days after that then the reaction of the video are actually happening around my household. It's Netflix movies, and for technology teams, don't abuse our households, because I'm very kind for being Elise, but I'm not gonna allow this rut anyway around my children, right? Or around my daughter Key. Yes, my children, I say, because our previous daughter, baby Tanika, in the universeness of communications and of humanity, no one messes in our communications that are still in the universeness of mankind, right? So that's now everyone has heard me say it, for people that sometimes say that they find themselves doing things and no one is talking about it. And if you know so much, why don't you say something about it? We get the oddest of religions that we find ourselves busy with in churches these days and years. So while the churches are having a lot of odd religions that they find themselves educating, I know New Apostolic Church have got the oddest religion. And because of the oddness of religion and the oddness of what the world learns around what is happening in the universeness of processes of humanity, we sometimes have to speak up for things that are sometimes odd in certain religious groups, right? So that our households are not abused. So now I'm just doing this with the butter. Everyone knows that this part of that what you do. Evil kids don't disrupt my kitchen also. Another thing is this is lovely everyone. This emo kids, yeah, kids at it's related to emo idioms in South Africa. It's a different process. Another thing what we do everyone is we are just quickly doing this part of the recipe. So this is your butter now mixed with the sugar, mixed with the flour. And now we're gonna stir that a little bit through while the kids is on. And I'm gonna add a little dash of milk because I still want to drink coffee and I only have a drop of milk. Everyone knows I don't often drink a lot of coffee. So the time that I really want to drink coffee. And then I want to drink coffee. So how much milk did we now add? 100 ml. That's now exactly 100 ml of milk that we add to this recipe. Why? Because we want this biscuit cake to be as soft as the previous biscuit cakes that we have made. We're not adding yeast to it today. We're gonna add yeast when we make this cake again. We're gonna do this cake without. There's still flour for us for tomorrow after lunch. And then we're gonna add a little bit of yeast to this recipe. Everyone knows I nowadays add yeast to the biscuit cake. That's 100 ml of milk. What am I gonna do with 100 ml of milk? Drizzling that already over this recipe before I'm gonna stir this recipe through with good water, please. But I will do 100 ml milk. Is Kiara going? What you doing? Oh, she doesn't want to go buy it. Stop.
I think it's more you than
No, I want her to buy some stuff.
school shoot.
School shirts. He can go to techies with school shirt is anywhere not looking for him. So anyway, the school shirt, it doesn't look for him.
He's taking a money.
Doreen Rhoda, why do you have to give her money and then you take it back? Rather let her enjoy the money and leave the school shoes.
She must walk there and things.
See the last techies that she's wearing.
So you are the stuff you are.
She's got techies that she's wearing.
Those are the stuff you are.
No, Doreen, don't come and waste the child's money now.
Really are.
Let her enjoy your money, that's all. Don't give money and take it back. I really don't like. I don't like.
You have to interfere in the business between me and Kiara.
No, I'm just saying. I don't like the fact that people are having to sit in poverty and other people are having a jolly ride around it, right? Now, if my daughter Kiara wants to have money and she wants to have the money in her pocket, let the money be for her. If you give someone money, I believe in let the money belong to the person. It's like my whole business. I said something now just earlier, right? I don't have no sympathy for no one. So no one is going to expect me to have sympathy when my house are oppressed and when the oppression is not only where people are disrupting your house, and I've spoken to New Zealand government before about this problem in my house. The New Zealand government tend to every day implement processes that comes from different countries that are oppressive to our house in Auckland, New Zealand personally. It has caused my AWOKH business to be not having any funds yet because New Zealand government has manipulated every process of Mirabia Elise. I have educated New Zealand government how the function of the Mama Anna Philander birth womb on earth works. Our households still are not fine. My sister is fine where she's at in her employment. Her business is not yet even fine because South African government are messing in their processes when they go and register and when they go and work their business processes out in South Africa. My brother Zaak Philander's business is not even funded yet. He has been applying so many numerous times to South African government, and our households birth womb are educating in our generation. And if our household are not included in the education and other people want to Google into our house to go and say what they think we are saying, then the world is going to be disruptive and oppressive. And that's why we're in a season where I do not play with anyone. Our birth womb itself, Mama Anna Philander birth womb, every office and country knows the process, and they have not been functioning fine in our households, personally with the process of business in our houses. And when it comes to our family, that's now not one of the families, that's now just letting the whole world walk over them. Then I, Rabia Elise, are very clear where I'm at with my business in Auckland, New Zealand, and I've made it clear to Auckland, New Zealand police and to the government itself. Now, this is a Mama Anna Philander process. New Zealand government knows the process. They've received information from the international world, from America itself, about this house process. When they receive the information, then they have released the Cinder Dern out of the office. It was the parliamentary leader that received the information about this household process of Mama Anna Philander's house on earth. And when our house is not fine, then a lot of houses is not going to be fine. And the process is exactly like that. New Zealand government has been educated the process, and every part of the international world has said their communication to New Zealand. And if I forever again have problems in my AWOKH business because of New Zealand government that has got a lot of communication in my house that is disruptive, then I'm really not going to be the fine Rabia Elise on that day. Because really now the world has explained exactly to New Zealand what is happening in Mama Anna Philander house and where this house process needs to be at in the international world. And for me to have to explain it so much on social media, I have now had to say something on my Instagram page that says that the marketing of my business AWOKH, the communication is not right. So it means the marketing where it's at in businesses in the international world, the business is not yet even recognized, right? And New Zealand and the international world, that is now Instagram and Google, needs to explain why is business AWOKH not yet recognized. If you hear the educations that I share, if you hear the employment history that I have had, if you hear where I'm at in Auckland, New Zealand, then you learn where is such a business at in the international world of office and businesses. You don't just soft an AWOKH business into a person that's now looking for Google followers on an Instagram page or on a social media page. No, you learn to know how does business function in the international world. I've educated a lot, and the information that I've shared, businesses needs to know exactly what I've explained to them. People sit in their own businesses and they don't halfway even know what I'm talking about. And it makes you angry if people are managing the world and they are not the people that are meant to be there. And then you stand here, you are the baby of that process, and everyone seems to want to disrupt and oppress your house. Let's bake this biscuit cake and check how it's going after that. A lot of in my kitchen. And for South Africa that wants to constantly send messages to New Zealand about my AWOKH business, South Africa don't halfway know what they're doing. South Africa is in oppression, it's in poverty, it is in the disruption, it sits in war arguments, and where South Africa is at and where AWOKH business is at are totally two different communications. And for New Zealand to have implemented things that South African government requests of them to implement in AWOKH business, and South Africa is in such war discussions for many generations and years, for New Zealand it is oddly out. I don't know who manages the world in such a way where they implement in a business like in a AWOKH business a requirement from South African government. South African government are not yet recognized in because South African government has not recognized and acknowledged AWOKH business when I was employed in South Africa. South African government didn't once allow me into the governmental house so that I can educate them on leadership based on my birth womb in South Africa, based on the international requirement of leadership. I've been employed at Niblibit in human resources. I've been employed at Boland that I applied at South African government. They did not yet think to employ a Rabia Elise's person with my history, with my education background, to learn to listen to where's the world at in this season, where's the world required to be at in business. So South African government cannot give an opinion about my business at all. Because I've been educating and explaining, and the more I educate them, the more they want to disrupt the communication line with aggressions and with arguments. And I really have been explaining a lot to all the business owners in the international world. And if they don't understand the business function, then they need to employ people that exactly knows what they're saying. Africa had numerous times where they tried to manage my house from a poverty and apartheid communication in the business world, and they were meaning to manage our houses out of apartheid communications and out the international world. The more you manage those processes wrong in the business office of software and of technology, the more the international world is going to be in war arguments. And I'm educating them out of it, and they listen to my information, but they don't even acknowledge my business world. And it aggresses a person if you have to educate the world, and the world abuses your opinion and your education. It makes you angry if the world looks like poverty and wars because people are managing the processes wrong. People sit and work on the processes and they work from the wrong offices. It's Microsoft Office, there's a lot of business offices. South African government sits and work from anywhere and treats South Africa however they want to. How did Brixton Family Value Sister says? The one that are deceased. She said, don't come and treat me in any kind of way that you want to. Why? Because this is a Mama Anna Philander womb. And Mama Anna Philander womb are born internationally in leadership. Not for the world to come and aggress the Braxton families into aggressions and war arguments the whole time that the Braxton family have to defend the international world. We are not there to defend the world in war. We are there to educate the world. We have been born in the womb to educate the world in leadership. Out of poverty in the world come and oppress our communications. And I really had enough of the oppressions. Now that's how amazing it looks. Let me quickly just say that with y'all before I'm going to conclude with that video now. Sorry for shouting, but in this world you have to shout in order to say something. We live in a world where you can't say things nice anymore. People treat one another in this world too harshly and oppressively. This is lovely. This is now how the biscuit cake is looking. Now it's going to the oven. Now we're going to eat it with a sweet treat later on. And we're going to enjoy the lovely color of this biscuit cake. For everyone else, tune in to our AWOKH Fashion Sundays, to our AWOKH Fashion Saturday. We're going to do a Fashion Saturday photo today. Tune into that, but enjoy the lovely baking with me, Rabia Elise. Not baking, my friend's name, my brother's friend's name is Bakey, and this other friend is not there anymore, so not baking that baking like the normally bake that we bake in the kitchen, and that's where we're at with our normal baking in the kitchen. Lovely, full of color, and now we're gonna enjoy the calmness of this Saturday with a AWOKH Fashion photo.